Moving on, we have the sarcophagus with the myth of the Orestes. And this is from the days of Trajan. We see a growing interest in these sarcophagi. And of course, this is an old tradition going back to the Etruscans. At this point, many of these are mass manufactured, and you would look through pattern books to find what you want. So these are not being custom made specifically for one person all the time. And what we see is only 3 sides of this piece are carved, which means it was meant to be up against a wall. Not uncommon in many of the family tombs. And this is a very popular subject. What we see is Greek mythology, but we also see a little bit of clumsiness in terms of the anatomy and the body positioning. For example, if you look at it closely, you'll notice that his head is in a rather unusual position, pulled all the way to one side. Or we see this man with a very unusual body stance, almost a reverse bow going on here. So we're seeing the art falling off a little bit. But this was a major industry. This is where we have a lot of Greek sculptors and a lot of slaves working. Again, we don't have a lot of Roman artisans creating these pieces. But we are seeing that slow decline in quality, which usually means, if you remember our diagram of most civilizations, that we must be past this plateau. We must be on the downward side. And we're going to see that as we move forward. Now in Egypt, they have a little different idea. They're continuing with their mummies, or in this case, a daddy. And this is from Roman Egypt. So this is Egypt under Roman rule, where they're continuing the mummification, but instead of death masks, they're actually painting on the caskets themselves. And this is encaustic paint. This is melting wax, mixing it with pigment and applying it to a surface. Which is very tricky because the wax has to be molten. But on the positive side, it lasts quite some time because unless you remelt it, you really can't destroy it. What we're seeing here is a portrait of a priest in the fashion of the time. So it gives us that contemporary feel. And with that encaustic technique, this takes a great deal of skill, trying to blend the melted wax before it cools to room temperature. And we see these quite a bit. These are some other examples. They're not only men, but also women are being depicted this way in a wide variety of skill ranges. But we're still seeing some impressive skill in this portraiture in basically late Roman painting.